live. It's been a while since I did a video. We've actually had quite a bit of snow here in Colorado. Normally our average highs, it's in October, are supposed to be in the 60s, and over the last 3 days we've probably gotten about 1.5 feet of snow where I live, which is just on the outskirts of Denver. And temperatures this morning were down to I think around 3 with a wind chill factor of -8. And so I've not ventured out in the car much. Actually been doing a lot of work from home. I'm actually heading into work this morning, and so I thought I'd just do a quick video of how the car handles in the snow. As you can see, snow-covered roads. There's probably at least 2 to 3 inches, that fell last night. Some of which is, maybe they've tried to plow some. But as I was coming out of our subdivision, most of the roads hadn't been plowed all that much, and so there was at least 2 to 3 inches on the road. And the car handles really well. I mean, the settings you want to take and go into your driver settings and turn on chill mode. Chill mode basically restricts the torque of the vehicle, or that sense of power you get when you put your foot on the pedal, the accelerator pedal, and you have that instant torque with an electric vehicle. Well, chill mode takes and really inhibits that, so it just doesn't give you that punch of power, which you don't want in snow or ice, right? You want to stay in control. And then the other thing you want to turn on is you want to turn regenerative braking on to low, not standard. Standard is where you get your high regenerative braking, and with regenerative braking, right, it can lock up the wheels, or not really lock them up, but it can cause wheel spin in the rear of the vehicle. And so again, that's another thing you don't want. You don't want anything that's going to cause instability on the snow or the ice. You want to stay and maintain control of the vehicle. And so by turning regenerative braking down to low and turning the engine speed limiter onto chill mode, it allows you to keep the car into control. And then the car itself also has really good traction control and management systems, right, that monitor wheel spin and things like that. So I find that as I'm driving the vehicle in the snow, as long as I have those 2 settings on, it just really does well. And I have got all season tires on. I may get a bunch of grief from that in comments from people who are winter tire people. I've grown up in the snow my whole life, and in fact, I grew up in Idaho, so we had winters that were far worse than are here in Colorado. And so I've just always known how to deal with snow. That doesn't mean I'm always perfect, because ultimately you can always make stupid decisions when you're driving in weather like this or conditions like this. But I think if you play it safe and you just take your time, honestly, I worry more about other people than and their vehicles than I worry about, I guess, myself. But again, there's been a few times in my life where I've made some stupid decisions. I remember one time I was coming down a hill. It had gotten some ice on the bottom of the near the stopping at the bottom, and you come into an icy patch like that, and you try to hit your brakes hard, even just hit them slightly, and you'll just start to slide. And once you're sliding on a hill, that's not a good thing in any vehicle. Doesn't matter what kind of traction system you have. But so things like that, you just have to be extra careful and aware of the conditions of the road and what kind of pitch you're driving at, and how much snow and vehicles around you, right? All those things are just super important. So anyway, the Model 3, range wise, I've seen a little bit of degradation in the range. I certainly see my usage increase. If I just look right now in terms of watt hours per mile, since I've left my home, I've driven 3 miles this morning, and I'm averaging 230 watt hours per mile, which is right on point with what the car should be doing. I would expect, because my car has been garaged overnight, and it's not at the temperatures naturally that are outside the car. My temperature gauge right now says 12, I fully probably expect the vehicle's range to be impacted as the day goes on and the vehicle cools down or gets cold from the temperatures outside versus what they were in my garage overnight. So anyways, just some things to be aware of there. I'll say one or two other things. You know, I was out, my wife and I were out the other evening driving some things around to some people, so basically running some errands. And as we were doing that, I played with I noticed that the condensation on the windshield started to build up, and I went into my settings on the AC and noticed, and most of the time I just leave the vehicle on auto in terms of the AC and heat. I'll just leave it on auto and let the system manage. And I noticed that when it was on auto, it had turned off the AC, probably, I don't know, perhaps because of how cold it was. I didn't think it needed to have AC on, and it had the air on recirculation, also probably because of the cold temperatures. But here, again, here in Colorado, or probably in really any other cold climate, when you take the AC off and you get people breathing in a car, it's going to start fogging up the windows, or at least that's always my experience. So I think Tesla needs to tweak the heat and cold management system and change the settings so it doesn't. Or I don't know, maybe it cycles the AC on and off. I don't know what the real answer is there, but I know that when I turned AC back on and took it basically off of auto, because once you start changing the settings, it just takes it off of auto. But when I did that, immediately all the condensation and stuff on the windshield went away. And I played with it. I played with recirculation on and off, and but ultimately I think the AC was the ultimate factor in having that condensation appear or disappear, either be the AC on or off. So and then the last thing, I have seen some people express that there's some concern sometimes with the windshield, with the wipers freezing up. Again, I think that if you are experiencing any kind of freezing precipitation, you definitely want to turn on the defrost setting on the car. The defrost takes all the air and pushes it to like any other car, pushes it up to the windshield. And I think certainly, and also the temperatures, when it's super cold, it'll heat that air. So you want to keep your defrost on, keep it on high. And then once you've got it, the windshield under control, then you might turn on your feet, the warmers, to send air down to the feet and that sort of thing. But I always, if you're dealing with any kind of precipitation, freezing precipitation on the windshield, you want to keep that consistent there. So anyway, that's how things are going. Car's really doing well. Loving to drive this thing. In fact, I just don't get to drive it enough. I feel like the last few days I've been working from home, so I haven't driven it hardly at all. But here we are heading into work, and I expect today will be a good day. Just have to be careful driving out there. So thanks everybody. Click subscribe if you like this video, and give it a thumbs up, and appreciate your watching. Thanks. Bye.